Hello fitness students, and welcome to the walkthrough video for your culminating activity this year. I'm Mr. Smith, your captain speaking. I'm on planet Venus right now playing golf. It's a little bit warm, but I've brought my sunscreen. Anyhow, here we go. This email that you're receiving is where you're going to get the link for this video. And so what you've got in this email is a PDF version of a fillable form, the exact same thing that we did in class to fill out our fitness plans when we were in class. And your task for now, for the culminating activity, is to fill out a fitness plan for a pretend student that I have created. So in this email, click on the link, download the file. When you download it, you can put your name up here. Okay, this is a fillable form, the exact same thing we did in class. I'm going to put Mr. Smith, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a workout plan for this pretend student that we've got. So who is this pretend student that you ask about here? So if you go to Google Classroom and you click on the classwork section, you can see that I've got a new topic called culminating activity. And under that topic, there is some information for your culminating activity. If you click on one of the files, they're the exact same file. One opens in Microsoft Word, one opens in Adobe. It's a PDF file. Then you're going to find out that they have some information for this pretend student that we have. Pretend student's name is Johnny Exercise. Okay, and our task is going to be make a 1 week workout plan, for Johnny, and it's going to meet the requirements that he's got below. Again, exact same format we've done in class. Okay, here's his name, Johnny Exercise. He's 20 years old, and he's got a resting heart rate of 60 beats per minute. The exercise plan that he wants to do is the strength plan. Again, the exact same plan that we have used in class if you chose this one, but we've all walked through how to do this here. And so what I've done is I've isolated some exercises that you could choose from here for the different parts of the body. These are the exact same different parts of the body that you had in class. And I've given you the exercise name, for example, bench press, and then what Johnny's 1 rep max is, in this case 200 pounds. So your task is to fill out this Google form right here, the same thing we've done in class for strength training workouts and cardiovascular training workouts for 4 days a week. Okay, you've got Monday, Tuesday, and then you've got Thursday, Friday, the same exact way we've done it in class. Okay, so in this form here that we've got here, you've got all these 1 rep max for Johnny, and you've got some information about his cardiovascular training. He's interested in working at 70% of his maximum heart rate for 30 minutes, 2 times per week. Okay, he enjoys the elliptical, he enjoys the rowing machine, and he enjoys the treadmill. So those are some options you have for his cardiovascular workout. And then I've included some information that we talked about in class that you probably don't remember off the top of your head, but here's an example walkthrough of how to do it. So, for example, how do you figure out what 70%, because here Johnny wants to work out at 70% of his max heart rate. Well, what is that? Okay, we're going to give you some helpful information here to find that out. So, how do you get your maximum heart rate? Well, you take the number 220, and it's going to subtract the person's age. Okay, so here I've given you an example of Mr. Trush. He's 25 years old, so his maximum heart rate is going to be 195 beats per minute, because I took 220 minus his age. So now I've got his max heart rate of 195. Okay, so that's going to be an important number that we need. That's his maximum heart rate. What's his resting heart rate? Well, his resting heart rate is just going to be done by counting the number of beats of his heart at rest in 60 seconds. I've done that for you with Johnny Exercise's help, and we have come to the conclusion that his resting heart rate is 60 beats per minute. So this is the value you're going to use. This is the age here that you're going to use to get his max heart rate. So if you take 220 minus his age, his max heart rate is going to be 200. Help, help, help. And his resting heart rate is 60. Okay, so now you know Johnny Exercise's maximum heart rate, and you know his resting heart rate. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to find the difference between the two. Okay, takes his maximum heart rate, subtract the resting heart rate. For Mr. Trush, let's say his resting heart rate is 70 beats per minute. Okay, remember his max heart rate was 195. This is for Mr. Trush. So we take 195 as max heart rate, we subtract 70, which is his resting heart rate, and we get 125 beats per minute. Okay, this is the range of beats that Mr. Trush's heart rate can vary. He can start at 70, he can go up to 195. So there's 125 beats that he can vary his heart rate in there, depending on how hard he is working. So the difference is 125 beats per minute. Okay, what we want to do is we want to take a percentage of that. Now let's say Mr. Trush wants to take 60%. Well, 60 out of 100 is 60%. It works out to decimal 6. Okay, here's some values for other percentages that I've given you. 50% is 0.5, 55 is 0.55, and so on. Now this is the one you might want to key in on because I suggested to you that Johnny Exercise wants to work at 70% of his max heart rate. So you're probably going to need to use the number here, 0.7. Okay, then you're going to take this decimal here, 0.7 for Johnny Exercise, and you're going to multiply it by his range. Now, Mr. Trush's range was 125. We calculated that above, and he wants to work at 60%. So we're going to take 125 and we're going to multiply it by 0.6. What that does for Mr. Trush is it gives us 75 beats. Okay, that's 60% of Mr. Trush's range. Okay, 60% is the range, 75 beats per minute. Okay, so then because we have 75 beats that Mr. Trush's heart can vary between resting and max heart rate, we took that value and multiplied it by decimal 6 because that's 60%, and we got 75 beats. So we need to add 75 beats onto his resting heart rate because that's how much of the range we want to add on. So Mr. Trush has a resting heart rate of 70 beats per minute, and we're going to add 75 because that's 60%. So the final answer in this case for Mr. Trush would be 145 beats per minute. So for Mr. Trush, working at 60% of his max heart rate, he should be working at 145 beats per minute. What I'm looking for you to do is to do this calculation for Johnny Exercise, knowing what his max heart rate, his resting heart rate, and his percentage is. If you have any difficulty with this, just send me an email. I'm happy to help you guys do this. We did this one time in class, and I've given you this helpful tool here to work through this time. But again, any trouble, just shoot me an email, and I'm happy to do that. Okay. Now, how to get your 1 rep max calculation. Okay. You notice that up here, I've given you the 1 rep maxes. These are all the 1 rep max values right here. Okay. And I've told you what to do here. The weight should be 70 to 80% of your 1 rep max. So that's this value. Take 70 to 80% of that. Should be 3 to 5 sets for Johnny, and it should be 8 to 12 reps to failure. So as long as your values are between 8 to 12, 70 to 80%, and sets of 3 to 5, you're going to get this correct. Okay? Same stuff that we've done in class here. Nothing different. But I've also included how to get the percentages here. So the example we used in class was about myself. I can bench 120 pounds 4 times, 130 pounds twice, and 135 pounds only once. Therefore, my 1 rep max is 135 pounds. You don't need to do any calculations for Johnny Exercise. I've already given you his 1 rep maxes right here. You just need to take these values, multiply them by 70 to 80%, somewhere in there. So that's either going to be decimal 7, decimal 75, or decimal 8, whatever you'd like to choose from that. Okay, so here, for example, I wanted to do 80%. So 80 divided by 100 is 0.8. That's 80% as a decimal. 60% as a decimal is 0.6. 75 is 0.75. Okay, so if you're trying to figure out 60% for my example of my 1 rep max of 135, you're going to use 60% as a decimal, which is 0.6. Okay, I'm going to take the 1 rep max and multiply the decimal by it. So my 1 rep max is 135 pounds. I want to do 60% of that, and I multiply that those two values together in my calculator. I'm going to get 81 pounds. So if I'm doing bench press and I want to do 60% of my 1 rep max, I should be doing 81 pounds. Now don't worry if we can't actually get 81 pounds in the fitness center. Just give me these values and then we could adjust that for Johnny Exercise when he actually goes into the gym. Okay? So that's the information that you'll need for your culminating activity. And please, once again, any questions, you just make sure to email me and I will help you with it. So you fill this out here, okay? As long as all those things are correct, that's fine. You don't need to fill all of this form out as the exact same thing that we did in class. Fill this out only a couple of times, or only a couple of exercises. 3 to 4 exercises is fine. And again, make sure we get at least 2 times a week of that cardio in there. 30 minutes for the cardio, okay? This is the heart rate here. Notice I've included a heart rate. I don't care about the level because you're not supposed to know the level for Johnny exercise on the elliptical. You're going to give me the heart rate that he should be working at, which is going to be the 70% of his heart rate. Okay. So, and I've already showed you how to walk through that calculation. Okay. And the time here is going to be at least 30 minutes. Okay. Any questions? Just email me. I'm happy to help. I'm sorry for this really long video, but I think I needed to be thorough to answer any questions that you may have. If there are more questions, just shoot me an email. Good luck and talk to you soon.